Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of The Cinematic Traveler. I am your intrepid movie exploring host, Chris, and on this episode, I will be giving you my review for a highly anticipated film. I know you've been waiting on pins and needles for this review, and that is a movie entitled Caught Stealing. What's that? You've never heard of this movie? How is that possible? It's directed by Darren Aronofsky, and it stars Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz, and I cannot wait to talk to you about this film. But before I do have to get the stupid podcaster, YouTuber, mumbo jumbo out of the way, whatever you're listening or watching the show on. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave me reviews, comments, I don't know, whatever you're supposed to do. God, you've listened to enough podcasts and watched enough YouTube videos. You know exactly what to do. So help me out. I would appreciate it. Now, I hope you're doing well out there, my beloved listener. I know it's been a while since we have spoken, and I don't know whether to get into that now or later. I will tell you one thing. I have moved recently. That was part of the delay in me bringing you a new episode. So right now, I'm only doing an audio version of the show simply because I'm trying to find the right spot to record so it won't sound weird or bad or anything like that. I don't think this is it, but I'm going to tinker around with that. But for now, we're just going to do audio only, so you won't get to see my sexy face. Oh, I hear the people switching the show off now because they are so disappointed. But you can always find me on Instagram at Cinematic Traveler Pod, and you can find my face on there from time to time, so go give me a follow on that. Alright, but I will get into everything else with the show after the review, so let's go ahead and talk about Caught Stealing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun on the bun.
This movie is directed by Darren Aronofsky, and with Caught Stealing, he is bringing us sort of a comedic take on a gangster or heist movie. And as we all know, the director of such films as Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, The Whale, and Black Swan, he is known for his lighthearted comedy caper movies. So you know it's going to be an interesting take on the genre. Now, if this is your first time listening, I am going to bring you a spoiler-free plot review as well as a spoiler-free review. I don't want to give anything away. Now, hidden in my plot synopsis will be a movie quote from another movie that shares some DNA with this or runs a little parallel to it. And if you can identify that movie quote, get in touch with me. As I mentioned, my email address, thecinematictravelerpod@gmail.com, or Instagram's the easiest way on social media at Cinematic Traveler Pod, or in the comment section or whatever. I will find the answer. I'll give you a point for each one that you get right. At the end of the month, I add up all the points. Whoever wins gets to pick a movie for me to review next month. Oh my God, how exciting. How exciting is that? Oh, how you have missed that. I know it. How have you functioned without playing my trivia game? Speaking of that, to my July winner, I will be doing your movie this month. Again, we'll get to it after the review, but I apologize to you, sir. Anyway, let me go ahead and tell you about Caught Stealing. This movie takes place in the late 90s. Yes, we have ventured from 1980s Remember Berries to now we are moving into 1990s Remember Berries. But we follow our hero of the story, Hank, played by Austin Butler, who, as a young man in high school, he was a baseball phenom, headed for the major leagues, until a tragic accident causes a serious injury that ends his baseball career. Well, now he is living in New York City, and he is a bartender who loves to partake in the adult beverages that he dispenses behind the bar. Now, Hank does have a love interest in the film. That is Yvonne, played by Zoe Kravitz, a paramedic who they both seem to be enjoying the, how shall I say, physical aspects of this relationship with each other. And I mean, good Lord, Austin Butler, please, from now on, keep your shirt on. I felt really horrible about myself. Of course, if I looked like Austin Butler, I would walk around basically in my boxer shorts like he does in this movie all the time. I would just go to the grocery store. Hey, hello, how are you? Look at my washboard abs. But at any rate, Yvonne is at a point in this sort of on-again, off-again relationship where she really wants Hank to make the commitment because he is always running away from basically growing up. Well, one night Hank is asked by his punk British neighbor Russ, played by Matt Smith, if he will look after Russ's cat, Buddy, while Russ has to fly over to England because his dad has become very sick and may be passing away shortly. Hank reluctantly agrees. Now, while taking care of Buddy the cat, Hank isn't really prepared for this, so he doesn't have any cat food, so he heads back over to Russ's apartment to obviously get some cat food, where he is confronted by two gangsters who are speaking a peculiar language, as it were, and there is a bit of a language barrier between the two, causing Hank to say something like, "What country are you from?" What? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker, do you speak it? Hint, hint. Come on, you gotta get that one. Well, unfortunately for our hero, he is no badass, and he proceeds to get his ass stomped on. And while he is recovering, he is confronted by Detective Roman, played by Regina King, who is looking for not only Russ, but some of the nefarious criminals that he is associated with, leaving Hank sort of in the middle of this plot between Russ and what he has done to these criminals and this other criminal group that are led by two Jewish gentlemen. Lipa, played by Liev Schreiber, I can never say his name right, and his brother Shmuley, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Now, with these criminals all chasing after Hank because they think he knows more than what he really does know, it's up to him to sort of piece together what Russ has caused for these nefarious criminals to come into his life and threaten him and everyone he knows. Now, will Hank be able to find Russ or find the thing that all of these criminals are looking for in time to save his loved ones? Or will all of these criminals eventually catch Hank and go medieval on his ass? Well, I won't ruin that by spoiling anything. I swear I don't think I spoiled one damn thing of that plot stops. I didn't write anything down on this episode. I'm just winging it this time. I'm trying to get back into the groove. I figured Caught Stealing would be a good one. I know no one's going to listen to this episode, so what the fuck? But I promise I won't spoil anything. But I will give you the best review for Caught Stealing in all the podcast universe. I don't know if it's the best. It will be a review of Caught Stealing. How about that? And I'm probably not going to keep you very long for this film, which I'll get to in my final verdict. But starting with the positives of Caught Stealing.
Sounds pleasant.
Bender, how I have missed you, you lovable scamp. Anyway, let's start with, I'll go with the acting. I think all the performances are really good in this movie. They keep you interested in the film. Austin Butler, not really going too far out of his wheelhouse. He plays the good-looking dude. I mean, God, it must be nice to be Austin Butler. I'm not going to lie. Good for you, my friend. But, you know, he kind of plays that lovable loser-type character. He has good chemistry with Zoe Kravitz, and you really believe that they have sort of this relationship, that they both want to be more. Yvonne, Zoe Kravitz, really wanting more, but Hank, as much as he wants more, he knows his personality, so he's trying to overcome that, as it were. So you really buy into the relationship, and you buy into poor Hank having to deal with basically stuff that he has no idea what's going on, and all these people that think he knows what's going on. And, you know, if you were just basically an average Joe getting thrown into this criminal element, yeah, you can buy everything that goes on with Hank. So, yeah, your two main leads keep you interested in the story, and much like a Quentin Tarantino movie, you do have some interesting side characters. As I mentioned, I think the guy that steals the movie is Matt Smith as Russ, this British punk rocker kind of guy. Just about every moment he's on the screen is pretty hilarious. He adds that quirky character, as I mentioned. You also have, as I mentioned, the two Jewish gangsters, Liev Schreiber, I think that's how you say his name, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Of course, these are excellent actors. I've always been a fan of both of them, and they bring enough menacing but likability to these characters. Kind of remind you of Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction and that chemistry they have with each other. And Regina King as Detective Roman. I mean, she's good in everything, isn't she? So, yeah, top to bottom, the cast is good. As I mentioned, they all have quirky characters and side characters, and you really buy into your heroes in the story. And as far as our next positive, I'll go into the direction. And this is really what had me curious about this movie, because, as I mentioned, it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, not exactly known for his light comical approach to movies. So it was interesting to see him take a shot at one of these types of movies. It feels very much like a Tarantino movie, at least for a while. It's kind of in that vein. Like as I mentioned, you got the quirky characters and you got this criminal element and all these twists and turns as you're going through the movie. And the movie looks great. Obviously, you've got this A-plus director. I don't care what he does. He could direct a home video on my phone and it would still look great. So there's nothing about the movie that looks bad or cheap or there's any corners cut, or that he's just sort of half-assed in this movie. This feels like, to me, he just wanted to go out and have a fun time with the movie, and it comes across on the screen, which leads to, let's kind of combine a couple, but we'll say this is my last positive. This movie comes in under 2 hours, about an hour and 45 minutes or so, and as any of my regular listeners who are still around know, I do love a movie that comes in under 2 hours, or maybe right at that 2 hour mark, but that's good timing. So the movie moves along at a really good pace. It has a slow build-up, but once sort of the criminal elements get involved into the film, it picks up pace and it moves right along. And then the movie does something that I found to be a bit surprising. And again, I don't want to give anything away. There are some twists and turns in the movie. I don't think there's anything like jaw-dropping or anything like that. It's pretty formulaic that we'll get to in a minute. But as I mentioned, I felt very much like, okay, this is Darren Aronofsky trying his hand at a Quentin Tarantino type movie till about, I don't know, the first third of the movie is over, really when the bad guys get in there and things take a really, really dark turn. I mean, there's some really good comedic moments throughout the movie that play into all these weird characters interacting and poor Hank trying to basically play from behind as he's going through the movie, trying to get caught up with what the hell's going on so he can save everybody. But at the same time, yeah, it definitely goes in some directions where I was like, oh, I did not think they were going to do that. So I applaud Darren Aronofsky for not straying too far away from his normal dark, depressing type movies. It was a lot of fun. It kind of caught me off guard. It's been a while since a movie has done that. And one little thing, I should have put this, I don't know if this is positive or not, but for all you animal lovers, as I mentioned, there was a cat in the movie, and he does survive to the end. And I know that spoils it, but I like to let everybody know if a dog or cat in the movie, it survives or dies, because that can ruin a movie for a lot of people. Having said that, let's see if something ruins this movie by talking about the negatives of Caught Stealing.
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of that.
And to be honest with you, I don't really have a lot negative to say about the movie. I think the biggest thing I could say about the movie is it is formulaic. There's not really bringing, although it is bringing sort of a Darren Aronofsky view of this movie, it is still kind of your typical, I don't know what you would call it. I like to say Quentin Tarantino type movie, but it's kind of in that vein. You know what I'm talking about, like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. You know, it's kind of got that caper, the criminals, the outlandish characters, and they're all meeting with each other. And, you know, you just have to piece the clues together for our hero so he can either save the day or fail one way or the other. So it doesn't really break new ground in the genre. However, as I mentioned, I thought it was kind of cool to have someone who is known for doing heavier type movies that do kind of break the mold to kind of step into a movie that just have fun with it. And as I mentioned, that does come across on the screen. So really, I mean, the movie looks good, the acting is fine. It's not something that's gonna revolutionize cinema. Probably in a couple months I'll forget all about it, but when it comes on a streaming service, whatever, like, oh yeah, I remember that and I enjoyed it, I'll watch it again, something like that. So overall, my final verdict in this half-ass review is I would recommend going to watch it. It is at least an original idea. At least it's not a sequel or a comic book movie or something like that. So while it is formulaic, it's different characters and it has some surprises and some twists and some turns. It has sex in it. We don't get that a lot in movies anymore. Actually, there were some boobs in this movie. As much as you see Austin Butler half naked through the whole movie, you do get a pair of boobs. I was like, oh my God, in a movie, this is amazing. I'm hooked. You got me. I'm a simple man. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time with it. It was an enjoyable ride. And like I said, it comes in at under 2 hours. You're in good hands with a top tier director, just trying his hand at something different and having some fun with it. And I enjoyed the ride. So I would recommend watching it in a movie theater, at the very least when it comes out on streaming service, whichever one, in a week or two. I swear they just start showing up faster and faster anymore. I would strongly recommend checking it out on that. But yeah, go see it in a movie theater. Support these original ideas and these directors that are willing to try something a little different in their repertoire. Oh, you like that? You like me using those fancy words. So that wraps up my review for Caught Stealing. I told you this would be probably a quick episode. Let's see, just to catch you up on things. As I mentioned, I did move. I'm not sure how the sound quality is going to be on this episode. I'm really curious about that. So I'll have to find a corner somewhere. But that took up a lot of my time over the last month, probably about 2 weeks from moving stuff back and forth. I also have another hobby that I don't want to say was taking up my time. I was devoting some time to a project on that hobby. That took up a little bit of time as well. And I will say I just kind of needed a little bit of a break. I was only going to take a week or two, and it kind of turned into a longer break than that. But I've got some stuff coming up that I'm kind of excited about. Hopefully everything will work out. I have some kind of special episode I'd like to do. I just have to line some things up. It may or may not happen, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. As I mentioned, I do have to get July's movie quote contest winner. He has given me his movie to review, and I really need to get on that. I'll have that done by the end of the month. So go ahead and play the contest for this month, and we'll start all over again with that. Trying to think if there's anything else I really need to say to drag this episode out, and I really don't think so. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to my show. I tell everyone I know I've got the smartest and sexiest audience in all the podcast YouTube universe, and you never fail to live up to those high standards. Now, as you're traveling around on this blue and green ball bouncing through the cosmos, I need you to do one thing for me. Go out there and do that voodoo that you do so well.
All right, show's over. I'm tired.